Right now at 6, the Badgers will be taking on Miami of Ohio tonight. News 3 Now is live at Camp Randall with a preview of the big game. And it is day 3 of the retrial for one of the men accused in a fatal shooting. We'll have details on what the prosecution shared today. Plus, J.D. Vance makes a trip to La Crosse, how Wisconsinites are reacting to his visit. And we welcome you now to News 3 Now at 6. I'm Sarah Carlson, and Eric Franke will be joining us live in just a few moments. Today, as I said, is the big day. The Badgers are taking on Miami of Ohio in the season opener. Eric Franke and sports director Andrew Banstra are joining us live from Camp Randall with a preview of tonight's game and a look at our Badger preview special coming up in just about 30 minutes. Hey, guys.
That's right, 30 minutes away from our Badger special, Wisconsin Game Day, alongside Andrew Banstra. We're getting ready for kickoff 2 hours away. They're going to open the gates to Camp Randall Stadium here in another half hour. And Andrew, you're starting to get closer to kickoff, the excitement building here on Barry Alvarez Field.
Yeah, it just feels like that first day of school, I guess, if you really like school. But for us, we really like football. So it feels like that time that you just can't wait for it to happen. We're only 30 minutes away from the special, 2 hours from kickoff, and what will be a true test for a team trying to get back to their own standard. We know what Wisconsin football is historically, and they haven't been that over the last 2 years of Luke Fickell.
And in that special tonight, Sarah, we're going to cover everything from what you can experience when you come down to Camp Randall, the street closures, all that good stuff, the festivities that you can take part in. We've got light shows. Of course, it's going to be coordinated with the UW band. It's going to be quite a show here tonight. The Badgers, we're going to talk about football, too, with the X's and O's in that show as well, and talk about how Luke Fickell has changed things up a bit with his offense in particular to try to get things back on track.
And what I'm most excited to see is our entire staff made predictions on who wins the game tonight. Hopefully all of them say Wisconsin, but the scores, I think somebody might just be spot on. I don't know who it's going to be, but it'll be fun to see that.
You know who it could be? A guy who's really good at predicting things.
Who's
Alex
that?
Harrington, our chief meteorologist. He's down here with us, and you said it would be like a perfect night for football. And as the sun is kind of going down behind the press box behind us, you're getting that cool, crisp feel in the air. It's going to be a great night.
It's going to be a perfect night for football, a fantastic night for football. You said it perfectly, Eric. Now that sun is starting to set, temperatures are going to start to take that dive into the 60s. We've been in the 70s, and we've got that northeast breeze coming right across the field as well. So those tailgate temperatures that I was forecasting at 74, they're going to be starting to drop now that sun is going on down. Kickoff temperature you could expect 65, and then at the end of the game will be in the upper 50s. So as I mentioned the past couple of days, you might want to consider bringing a light red jacket here to Camp Randall overnight. Temperatures here at the top of the 6 o'clock hour, 71 is pretty popular. Madison and areas to the east still hanging on to 74 out to the west and Cross Plains. And we do know that traffic is building up here as folks are tailgating and folks are trying to get parked here downtown. 9 miles per hour. That's what we're going at right now here on Campus Drive, and westbound on Regent Street, 11 miles per hour right now. Eastbound on Regent Street, 12 miles per hour. So it is a slow go down here, but everybody's getting ready to have a good night down here, and the weather's going to play out just perfect for everyone.
Get here early if you can. They always try to remind you, because it just gives you extra time to kind of relax. And engineering is getting some reconstruction over there. We got the football complex going up next door. There is some construction down here. Be safe, get here early, give yourselves plenty of time, and be careful around here, but have a good time. Or stay home and watch us as well. 6:30, we got an awesome show we put together for you. We'll talk more about that in sports a little bit, Sarah, and also, of course, our show now less than a half hour away.
That's right. Thanks, guys. I'm very, very jealous, I have to admit. They said it's about 27 minutes away. I was counting here for the Wisconsin Game Day special. Eric Franke and Andrew Banstra will be getting into all of the details, what the season will look like for the Badgers and the crucial year ahead as well for head coach Luke Fickell. It's an analysis you do not want to miss. These guys know what they're talking about. So stick around after News 3 Now at 6, and that special is at 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. Now to breaking news and more sports out of Green Bay. Former Dallas Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons has been traded to the Packers. This is a big one. News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has more on this development.
When it comes to our Packers coverage at channel3000.com and here on Channel 3, I always want you to feel like I'm telling you the truth, because I am. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I knew the Green Bay Packers were going to trade 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark to the Dallas Cowboys to get one of the best defensive players in all of football in Micah Parsons today. And now, today, it comes to fruition. Not only do they get Micah Parsons, but they are paying Micah Parsons a king's ransom. He gets a 4-year extension worth a reported $188 million, including $120 million in guarantees. That makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in all of football. The Packers also have a quarterback in Jordan Love, who is tied for the highest average annual salary for quarterbacks in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers are all in on 2025. They are 15 years removed from their last Super Bowl, and they are going with urgency, just like Brian Gutekunst had told his players they needed to ramp up after last year's playoff loss. We will see how it plays out. We will have full coverage of it at channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our newsletter so you can get news like this delivered directly to your inbox, although maybe not quite as big as today's, every single day. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you so much. Well, in other news, we're bringing you continuing coverage in the retrial of Davante Gafford, one of the men accused in the killing of 20-year-old Devon Grant at the Harmony Apartments back in 2023. Our Maddie Heimsch has been in the courtroom all week and brings us the latest from the testimonies.
Guns, shell casings, phone records, and DNA samples. These are all pieces of evidence brought forth today in the retrial of Davante Gafford.
9mm fired cartridge cases that were recovered from the scene.
Okay. And do you believe those cartridge casings are associated with this firearm?
That is correct.
The state's witness lineup includes a number of City of Madison police officers, detectives, and investigators.
And item S was a buccal swab standard reportedly from Davante Gafford.
To provide context to that evidence.
But Gafford he exits, gets back in, and never discharges the firearm after the first time he's out.
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Laying out the scene outside the Harmony Apartments on July 13th of 2023.
That is in the general area where Gafford is moving back and forth during the shootout.
Correct.
Okay.
In Gafford's 2024 trial that the judge declared a mistrial after a deadlock jury, he argued self-defense.
Mr. Gafford does exit the vehicle at some point and flee on foot.
Okay. And he's being shot at as he's running, correct?
Again, I would have to, yes, was firing in that direction.
That leaves the defense attorney in this trial to make a point of the alleged return fire. Concluding the third day of the trial now, the state has rested their case. That means it's the defense's turn to bring witnesses to the stand. The defense attorney tells me that will likely include Gafford himself. Reporting in downtown Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you, and we will continue to cover this trial and have extensive coverage as well as exclusive investigations into the shooting. That's all on channel3000.com. Well, the woman accused of working with her boyfriend to poison women he previously dated has pled not guilty to charges in Rock County. Andrea Whitaker is facing several charges, including attempted first-degree intentional homicide as party to a crime. She pled not guilty during a hearing today, and a trial will be set for a later date. Whitaker is charged alongside Paul Van Dyne. Both face further charges in Dane County as well. And we're learning more about the horrific mass shooting at a Catholic grade school in Minneapolis. Police are still searching for a motive behind this attack. 2 children, ages 8 and 10, were killed. 15 other children and 3 adults were injured. Doctors say one injured girl needed a CT scan and a nurse stayed with her despite the radiation risk.
Put a little lead on and stayed there and held her hand and held her hair while she went through the scanner so she didn't have to go through it alone.
The mayor of Minneapolis stood with a group of moms demanding action to call for a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. The FBI is investigating the attack as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. Ahead tonight at 10, Governor Evers releases a report on the impact of President Trump's budget bill. And Vice President J.D. Vance pays a visit to La Crosse, Wisconsin. We'll detail his message for Wisconsinites. Plus, the countdown is on until kickoff. We're about 23 minutes away from News 3 Now's Wisconsin Game Day special. Later in sports, sports director Andrew Banstra and Eric Franke will have a preview of tonight's game.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Moving forward.
Vice President J.D. Vance made a stop this afternoon in La Crosse to tout the president's spending bill. Our sister station WKBT was there, and Allison Forgo tells us what he said.
Vice President Vance focused his speech on how the Big Beautiful Bill will help domestic manufacturing and American families. He highlighted the different tax cuts throughout the bill, including the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and the reauthorization of a 2017 corporate tax cut. Vance's speech also emphasized the administration's America First attitude, saying we need to be a self-reliant nation.
Do you think we have a future if we can't even drive over a bridge without asking permission from some foreign country? That is no way to build a future. The way to build a future is with American workers, and I'm proud that in Wisconsin, that's exactly what we're doing.
He also argued the legislation will build safer communities, saying the bill includes more than $100 billion for law enforcement to crack down on drug trafficking. Vance has also previously stopped in Georgia and Pennsylvania to promote the bill. Reporting in La Crosse, Allison Fergit, News 3 Now.
And ahead of Vance's visit, Governor Tony Evers' office released a report on the impact the president's spending bill will have on Wisconsin. The Department of Health Services found more than 270,000 Wisconsinites will lose health insurance. The bill's work requirements will also cost taxpayers. Starting in 2027, Wisconsinites will have to cover the cost of employment training. Now, for the Medicaid work requirements alone, that'll cost about $72 million a year. Still to come tonight at 6, Blaze has the latest on our Labor Day weekend forecast. And Uber is unveiling a pretty cool new feature focused on women, how the rideshare app is looking to prevent sexual assaults. Plus, we are 19 minutes away from the News 3 Now Wisconsin Game Day special. Later at 6, sports director Andrew Banster and Eric Franke will have a preview of the game.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
A new Uber feature called Women Preferences is allowing women to request a woman driver in the rideshare app. According to Uber's safety report, nearly 6,000 sexual assault reports were made between 2017 and 2018. Now, by 2022, that number dropped to just over 2,700. Uber says the new feature could give women more confidence in the service.
We're in a very vulnerable position as drivers. Our backs are to the passengers, our hands are on the wheel, we're watching for safety on the road, and no one's really looking out for safety for us.
Uber adds that most drivers are men, so the company worked to make sure this new feature was usable. Well, this nice stretch of weather looks to continue into the weekend and then some. Blaze, what's Labor Day looking like?
It's going to be a beautiful day, plenty of sunshine, mid-70s for temperatures and light winds, and that all begins later Saturday. We're treated to very nice conditions tonight for, obviously, we've been talking about it, when the Badgers take on the Miami of Ohio's Redhawks, and then those showers move in as we work towards the end of the work week. That may continue into the start of Saturday, but then we start to dry on out, and the rest of Labor Day is looking very pleasant. Mostly sunny to partly sunny, not only Saturday, but Sunday as well. Before that, as I mentioned, we do have to deal with some showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. That shouldn't be severe on Friday, as temperatures only sit in the mid to upper 60s to low 70s. Further to the west, you're going to have that better chance for rain. You're on the edge of an exiting high pressure system, so the environment's just going to be a little bit better for those showers to get going. In terms of total precipitation, not only Friday, but Friday night into Saturday, we're looking at about a half an inch or less. Those showers will come out of northwestern Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota and primarily impact southwestern Wisconsin as we go into Friday and Friday night. We do get a brief break before some more spotty showers move in for Saturday, primarily during the morning hours. By about 10, 11 o'clock, we should say goodbye to the rain, and then we're just left with, again, mostly to partly sunny conditions and light winds. Some morning fog may be possible on Saturday as well, but overall, we really lucked out on weather conditions for Labor Day. Again, Alex has mentioned this, and I don't think it's much of a surprise that we could be in a much different situation towards the end of August into the start of September. We could certainly be a lot more humid, certainly hotter, but we have high pressure overhead pulling air out of Canada, and that's what's keeping us not only dry, but comfortable for the holiday weekend. And then things change as we go into the middle of next week. Confidence continues to grow that a larger system is going to be moving out of Canada, and its cold front is going to swing southwards, bringing us some rain, but also reinforcing this pocket of cooler air as warmer air continues to remain in parts of Canada. And I've already talked about how we essentially took their cooler air so that they could warm on up. And you can see it's already started to begin. We were at 74 in Madison. They were near 90 in Edmonton. And then even Baker Lake Airport, which is closer, obviously, to the Arctic Circle than we are. I think they're about 200 miles south of the Arctic Circle. They were at 75 degrees, 84 in Yellowknife. The Northwestern Territories of Canada are warmer than us. So this is the reason, essentially, why we're cooler, because they have to warm up into those 80s. So there is a look at our temperatures over the next 7 to 10 days. We are looking at 70s through at least Tuesday, maybe some low 70s there Wednesday when our system moves on through. And then we look to the 60s, which I think that might actually even be too warm there on Thursday. I think we might actually only hang out in the upper 50s as that system begins to move on out, and then we'll dry out, but still remain kind of cool for that first weekend of September.
I think because the weather's been so beautiful, we want the week to go by now.
I know, and I asked people on Facebook, are you happy that we're going to be cooler? It's been a mixed discussion. It's very heated, no pun intended, but I'm going to side with them. I'm ready. I like the cooler weather, especially at night. It's just so comfortable.
Exactly, and you know it'll be hot again.
We could. It could certainly, we could get that blast, so enjoy this if you don't like the heat and humidity.
Exactly. Thank you, Blaze. And still to come in sports, we're live at Camp Randall with the preview of tonight's Badger football season opener. We will be right back.
Welcome back inside historic Camp Randall Stadium. Andrew Banster here with Eric Franke as we get you ready for Wisconsin football's season opener against the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. The Badgers, on the other hand, want to prove to the world badly that they aren't the team that we all saw last year. And that starts right here tonight in Madison.
Yeah, they want to snap that string. They snapped the string last year, not going to a bowl game for the first time in a couple of decades. And before they can right any of those wrongs from the past couple of years, that needs to start the season out on a good note. And what better place to do it than Camp Randall Stadium under the lights? And when you throw in that it's week one, the opening night on top of that, well, that makes it even more special.
It's super important. Game one's always a big week. You watch so much film, but it's all from last year. So you kind of go in blind, and you really got to focus on yourself and our team, just to do all the little things. So it's very important for us to just kind of take a deep breath, focus on ourselves, trust in what we do, and go out there and have fun. If we do what we have been practicing and what we trust in, I think it's going to turn out really good for us.
Now, in the first 2 years of the Luke Fickell era here at Wisconsin, these non-conference games have been anything but easy. They've had to kind of eke out wins in the non-conference early in the year.
Yeah, and for Luke Fickell, having real success in year 3 means starting fast. And not just starting fast, having mid-season form already at the start of the year. And he says with a veteran-led group, he thinks this squad can do just that tonight.
The truth of the matter is we want to play in mid-season form, and I'm sure every coach says that, but what does that mean? I don't know that means we want big plays. We want to play clean. We want to play with speed. We want to play with that idea that we don't want to have those pre-snap penalties that just happen because we haven't played in front of 80,000 people, and we haven't played live that all. Like our objective with 34. So to speak, older guys is, we want to be able to play at mid-season form.
And Eric, for all of the talk about the run game that's been going on, our good friend Matt LePay stopped by earlier and mentioned, Billy Edwards Jr. is no joke. The guy can sling it.
He's throwing the ball a little bit. He comes from Maryland. They've got some receivers that can do some things too. So they're thinking that, this rebirth of the running game in traditional Wisconsin football, but I think it's going to be a big Billy Edwards night tonight. That's what I'm thinking. We'll talk a lot more about what we can expect from this matchup tonight. Our special Wisconsin Game Day coming up right after this newscast. We've got the Miami Redhawks warming up on this end of the field. The Badger specialists are also out here. What are we, less than 2 hours now until kickoff. We're starting to see some fans, some special privilege fans apparently. Get in a little early. but it is going to be a great night for football.
I cannot wait to get started. We're an hour and a half out, and even more excited for that Wisconsin Game Day special that's coming right to you right here on News 3 Now. We'll be right here, but for now, we're going to take a couple minutes off and send it back to you, Sarah.
That's right, guys. Oh, I'm so jealous again. I can't stop saying it, but what a beautiful night. And we have about 4 minutes before that News 3 Now 30-minute Wisconsin Game Day special. Eric and Andrew getting all those details and more than what you just heard. Looking at the crucial year for head coach Luke Fickell, and it's a show you do not want to miss, so stay tuned. It's airing right after News 3 Now at 6, which is about to end, but we need a quick check of the forecast.
And I mean, I'll just let it speak for itself. It's a pleasant night, and I think that's kind of underplaying how nice it is outside. Perfect for the Badgers to take on Miami of Ohio, and if you're not able to get to the game, it's just going to be a pleasant night overall. 65 when kickoff occurs at 8 o'clock in about an hour and a half, and then we'll hang out in those upper 50s to low 60s through the rest of this evening before rain moves in on Friday, but we dry out for your Labor Day weekend.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Our next show is at 10, and of course, coming up next, our Wisconsin Game Day special.